So I'd like to welcome up Jeremy Groeteke from Cultivating to talk to us about how he's radically changing and transforming the space of agri-science and ag tech with AI. Please give a hand for Jeremy.
Great story, Ryan. Welcome, everybody. It's great to be here at Solstice Forward with all of you. The cross-sharing that we have across all the industry sectors and being able to learn from each other and then take that back to our individual institutions is great. And so what is Corteva Agri-Sciences? Agri-Sciences, obviously we're in agriculture. So the industry I'm going to talk about and the breakthrough I'm going to talk about is with agriculture. But to do that first, we need to understand the grower. And so I'm going to tell a story about a grower named Tom. He's in the Midwest, grows corn, soybeans, wheat, alfalfa as the commodity markets really allow him, raises cattle. He has a decent sized operation. He's now retired, sitting on his deck at the lake house, enjoying retirement and writing his book. Tom farmed for about 40 years in his agricultural experience. And a lot of us in data science understand that observations and training sets are very key to train models. And so we do the same thing as humans, right? What we learn and the observations we go through in life dictate how and the decisions that we'll make as we move forward. So Tom, in his operation, experienced 40 years of observations, right? But you have to really think about it. Did he experience 40 consecutive years of the same thing to learn and progress? No. He had crop rotation. To grow in a sustainable way, he was diversifying his operations with corn and soybeans and alfalfa and wheat. So effectively, you cut 40 years in half instantaneously, and he only saw 20 years of, say, corn on an individual field. Now overlay Mother Nature. I think all of us can witness how fast Mother Nature can change her ways, right? From very dry seasons to very wet seasons that grow on. So now Tom witnessed 10 years of corn. Lay over Mother Nature on that, and you can cut that in half. And now he's down to 5 years of corn that may repeat randomly through that 40-year life cycle that he had on his operation. And so that's one of the key things. When you think about the growers in the agriculture world, whether they're growing corns, strawberries, wheat, whatever it is, they are limited by all the factors of genetics, management, and environment, and the interaction of all those and their inability to repeat themselves, right? And so that's one of the things that at Corteva Agri-Sciences we really pride ourselves on, is really to enrich the lives of those that produce, so growers like Tom, and those that consume. All of you, at least maybe half of you had breakfast, but you all probably have lunch, so you're all consumers. And whether you know it or not, the decision you make when you go to the grocery store or anything you buy has a ripple effect through the organization, the supply chains, all the way back to Tom, to understand how Tom should grow that corn, the management practices, what price he may receive on that. So as a community, we're all involved in agriculture, whether directly or indirectly. And at Corteva, we want to ensure progress for generations to come. Tom saw a lot of progress on his, and Corteva Agri-Sciences delivered a lot of those. Hybridization of corn. Henry Wallace, one of the founding members of the organization, developed and scaled up breakthrough technology of hybridization, double and tripling corn yields. Tom started farming, he was about 80 to 90 bushel corn yields. When he retired, he was about 180 to 190, effectively doubling his production of corn on his operation. Same thing with soybeans in his operation. He adopted new technologies. When he started planting, he was planting with a 4-row planter and a 2-row, and harvesting with a 2-row combine. He now has multiple 24-row planters that tractors actually driving themselves. He actually gets to sit there and watch Netflix instead of actually driving. The combines, multiple combines now doing that at scale. And really the efficiencies through genetics, machinery and mechanization, as well as the crop protection products that produce healthier and more sustainable crops. And so that's really what Corteva Agri-Sciences is about. So as we think of Tom here, passing it on to his son, John, that's now writing his 40 years of novels, and then ultimately down to his grandson, Patrick, and will eventually take over the operation. We want to make sure we ensure that progress as we move forward. So when we think about our user and our customer, it's very valuable and important to think about technologies that will help them do that and move their operations forward as they advance. So with that, one of the key breakthrough technologies I think arguably all of us would probably agree to is the smartphone. This is fundamentally transforming, I would say, everybody's industry. Because now we can compare, or we can have really access to basically infinite knowledge through the internet. The power of the compute on these phones is phenomenal, especially in the last 3 to 4 years. And this is one of the things when we think through the technologies that we've been doing within Corteva Agrisciences, is really allowed us to bring technology to farmers. And so we've been doing a lot of components within research labs, on servers, and one of those components really is ear photometry. So I think we've all proven via selfies and Instagram, we can all take a photo. And so we've taken that simple concept and developed machine vision technology around that. So as simple as taking a picture of an ear of corn, I can now produce a yield estimate. So what's Tom going to be able to do with that? Now he knows all those interactions that happened and what the output is in real time before the combine goes through. So his decision-making process improves in cycle time. And that's huge benefits to a grower. So how did we get here? We've actually been working on this for about a decade now within the research organization. We started off with a Nikon 6000 camera, pulling ears off by hand, hauling back to a lab, taking pictures of those, and building those training and data sets. And so for the last, the first 5 or 6 years, it was all really kind of lab space, lab bench work. But the advent of the phone and the iPad in the last 3 to 4 years has really been able to allow us to scale that, starting off with basic color vision to now deep neural networks that actually run on the field edge on the phone with no internet connectivity. In rural America and around the world, internet connectivity still is a problem. So we have to strive to work at the field edge with growers around the world. And that is one of the key components. And so really doing that and now being able to document that. So the phone, right? We all Google Maps, the follow me feature. I know exactly where I'm at. Tom knows where he's in his farm, what that is. The technology, even with satellite imageries, we basically cover the globe every day with satellite imagery. So Tom can walk out in his field and know if he's in a good area or bad area when he takes that yield estimation. And so he has a representative to understand what the productivity is. So if he's doing a different crop protection product to spray a fungicide to keep the plants healthy or longer, he knows if that's going to return an investment. Another technology that we've looked at and developed for growers is drones. Fundamentally, drones is changing a lot of the industry. We hear all the talk about delivery of packages via drones. Well, in agriculture, we look at it as a delivery and collection of information. Corteva Agrisciences operates the largest agricultural fleet of drones in the world. We have over 700 pilots, certified pilots, to operate a very simple drone. We've been with machine vision technology. We can count very small plants. They're about this tall. In history, when I was a crop consultant walking, it would take me an hour to do 160-acre fields. I can do it in less than 20 minutes with this technology. Again, decision time and speed up is hugely valuable to the growing operations and the farmers out there. Time is all of our most precious resources. And so being able to take these technologies to the field edge and do them in real time and make decisions. We had a grower in the South Texas, 225-acre field. We did the analysis on this, and these little yellow boxes are where plants should be. But for whatever reason, they're not there. The seed didn't grow, maybe an insect chewed it off, whatever. We found over 20 acres that were left unplanted, basically, because of some issue. So now that grower knows in real time his yield expectation for that farm has been decreased. And he can make management decisions and financial investments into that operation in a much smarter sense because he was able to make that decision at the edge and move his operation forward and not waiting for a feedback loop. So in agricultural today, we hear all the buzz and talk about growing population, shortages of inputs and resources. Innovation is the most important thing that has ever been in agriculture. We've never stopped from technology, mechanization, but we all can agree that food is that most basic human need. As Corteva, we champion that responsibility within agriculture and accept that challenge to do that. And our response is innovation within Corteva agriculture. and driving that forward and putting it in growers' hands. Because if we don't put it in a grower's hands, we can't actually fundamentally change and move the agricultural world forward. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Ryan, and we'll get to the panel here in a second. Thanks, everybody.